Go away, I'm jerking outdoors to 50 Shades of Grey. Welcome to Comedy Bang Bang. Thank you to Euripides Shorts for that. Oh, welcome back, Euripides Shorts, catchphrase superstar or catchphrase superstaress. I don't know exactly his or her pronouns, but welcome back, Euripides Shorts, to Catchphrase Hall of Fame, and welcome to you for listening to another episode of Comedy Bang Bang. I always like to welcome people for listening to the show. My name is Scott Aukerman, and we are doing Comedy Bang Bang once again. Mid-Navi Doggy, this is Thanksgiving week. We are approximately 4 days away from that esteemed holiday where people give thanks to their ancestors, and as well as, I would imagine, their loved ones, and perhaps even some of the haters out there. I'd love to thank the haters this year. That's what I would love to do this Thanksgiving week, and I'm sure some of you are listening. And speaking of listening, if you are listening, we have a great show for you. We have, coming up a little later, we have a chef. We also have a radio personality, and we have two podcast personalities, I guess you would describe them as us, although they've done other things as well. But before we get to the other guests, why don't we get to our first guest? That's usually the way talk shows go. You get to the first guest and then you get to the other guests. Why don't we get to them right now? They are the aforementioned podcast hosts or hostesses. We'll ask them what they prefer, whether they prefer to be called hostesses. Although it's very weird to consider yourself to be a hostess of a podcast. It's like, you know, when you're a hostess at a restaurant, it's like you seat the people before the main person comes in. But I think that would be interesting to have hostesses and hosts for the podcast. Although I am a host. Anyway, we're getting way off track here. They have a new podcast called Add to Cart, and which they are doing together. This is their first collaboration, and I would imagine their first collabo as well. And you know one of them from MTV News and as a journalist, and you know the other one as my ex-girlfriend. Ugh. Please welcome to the show SuChin Pak and Kulap Vilaysack. Hello, guys.
Hello, Scott.
Well, hello indeed. Welcome to Comedy Bang Bang. Kulap, you are making your, I believe you've been on the show before. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would hope you would remember every time that I've done anything.
I've cataloged it in my mind.
And that number is?
I have not gone to my mind palace yet to access that information, but at some point I shall. And SuChin, you are a first-timer on the show. Is that correct? You are laughing at something. I'm not quite sure what it is. It can't be me.
I'm laughing at your mind palace and how big it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What she said? I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Am I allowed to do that joke in front of you? I'm not quite sure.
It's never stopped you before.
Oh, that's right.
But yes, it is my first time. You don't have to go into the palace for that. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm just abuzz with emotion, if you will. Okay,
so, and hopefully all of those emotions are pleasant, if at the very least anticipatory.
Yes.
Since you have not been on the show before, SuChin, let's talk to you exclusively. Hey! I'm giving the stiff arm over here to Kulap.
He's literally doing it, you guys.
Look, we all, when we were babies, I think when I was 6 years old, you burst onto the scene as one of the journalists on MTV News. You would come on the air at approximately 5 to the hour every hour, and you would talk about REM, whatever REM was up to.
REM?
Or Nirvana. I have no idea who you were talking about at the time. I was 6 years old.
No, she's younger than you are.
What? I don't think so. I'm 29. And tell us about that for people who remember this in the hazy fog of their memories. Tell us about being a music television journalist or video journalist. I'm not quite sure what the delineation was.
Well, wow, that's a lot to chew on there.
Tell us everything about it. Leave no detail unspared.
No detail. Well, let me sort of correct you, but oh so gently. Less REM and more Britney Spears and NSYNC. So I need that to be the context in which we remember my
so wait,
time
you're not
there.
Tabitha Soren?
No.
Okay.
Totally different. My hair color is different as
Okay.
other
So you were reporting on more in the 2000s, the boy bands.
Yes,
and
the boy
I
bands.
see.
Yes, yes. The pop era.
And what
the
were they up
TRL
to?
era. And they were up to a lot of, some, I don't want to, make light of mental breakdowns and shaving of heads and that sort of thing. But you'll remember some incidents.
But Justin
there.
Timberlake, he used to have those curly locks, and then suddenly he shaved them off circa his first solo album, and everyone thought he was a hunk.
Yeah, well, I always thought he was a hunk with the curly locks and the jean tuxedo matching with his girlfriend, if you remember that beautiful outfit coming down the VMA. So, it was just a fun, poppy, drunken time. It was MTV. It was,
You were drunk on the job consistently. Is that what I'm getting from this?
mostly everybody else was drunk, but, I was drunk with glee, to be there and so honored to be a part of that.
Were you and are you interested in music? I'll take either or.
No, still am not. Yeah.
So really? So
Yeah.
all of the notes, let's go through them. Do, re,
So wasn't
so,
interested in music
fa,
and
ti,
still no.
do. Nope,
Still
none of them?
I can't
A needle
say even
pulling
one of
thread?
them. No, not even that.
So you
Least of all
cared
that.
not for the subject matters upon which you were reporting.
Well, I enjoyed pop culture and I enjoyed celebrity culture and I enjoyed youth culture. Music, I grew up in a
You sound like a scientist. Can I tell you that?
Thank you. I grew up in a very devout, born-again Christian Korean household where secular music was not allowed. So ironically...
B-A-C-K?
B-A-C-K.
Baby got back. Well, maybe if you're 5'2".
Yeah. And so music came late to me. But I've slowly warmed up to it, and it seems to be a good thing.
Warmed up to
it seems like people enjoy it. So I can appreciate
when you
it.
were working in the halls of music television, would you be constantly saying, "Turn that shit down"?
What's that noise? In my head, I wouldn't say it out loud, but yeah, I was probably thinking that, which is probably why I scowled through most of my days at MTV. I like to think that people use that as here she is, a very serious journalist, taking this much more seriously than the drunk people around her, but it was mostly turn that shit down. That's what that was.
Interesting. You're the second guest in as many weeks to note the fact that they scowled consistently in their on-camera appearances. Colin Quinn last week was talking about his Weekend Update tenure and how he scowled doing all the jokes as to not make any of Norm Macdonald's fans think that he was the usurper to the throne. And you are scowling because you just hate everything you're talking about and everyone around you and everything.
Kind of. And you know what? I have to say that pretty much sums up who I am. Kulap, I don't think you disagree that's...
Yeah, that's why I've been
the hate
silent
list
this whole
is
time.
That's an expert journalist trying to get the other guest involved. I really appreciate your canny savvy when
You
it
like
comes
that?
to
My experience?
journalistic skills. Yeah. But again, I'm going to have to stiff arm her because
It's to my neck, you guys. It's very uncomfortable.
back. And what have you been up to since your days on the job? You then became, I don't want to say real journalist, but fuck it, I'll say it. Real journalist?
No, not even that.
No.
I left there and just did lots of, here and there. Yes, some real journalism, some less journalism.
What do you consider to be less journalism?
Listen, let's say there could be a significant amount of time talking about sparkly makeup trends and maybe I may or may not have talked about hair products and sold some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're not interested in sparkly makeup trends.
I am, but I would say that was journalism light. Would put it with a very
so something
small
you're
J.
interested in, but it's not something that you would.
I mean,
would win you a Pulitzer. Although, do they have
Correct.
Pulitzers for makeup?
No.
They should. But we will be talking about this stuff on our podcast, so it's
This is when we have women on the show. I'm always interested because I learn new things. Are there
boy.
Pulitzers for makeup? I really got to have more women on the show so I can ask more questions like this. I'm fascinated by the subject.
When you start off with the host and hostess conversation, it's a real welcoming, warm bath.
I love to set the table. Yes, of course. Do you consider yourselves to be hostesses of your podcast?
Why don't you just ask me questions like at dinner and I could tell you about being a lady? Is that something we could do tonight, maybe?
Okay, I'll tell me if you are willing to tell me about being a lady. I'm all ears, as they say. So you guys, Kulap, we know what you've been up to. I think you were on the show about a year ago. Anything happened since then?
Quarantine, being stuck with you.
Yeah, that covers it, probably. So then you guys, we're all caught up on both of you.
You're the worst.
So then you guys decided to come together in a sort of super groupus of podcasting. Do you podcastists?
No one says that.
Okay, I don't know how to call these things the right thing. But you guys decided to come together almost like the Justice League of podcasts.
Yeah.
If the Justice League were only, I don't know, Aquaman and the Atom. To form, that's not a slam, is it?
I'm not sure yet. I'll get back to you.
To form a tight combo of doing a podcast now, and it's called Add to Cart, which I'm assuming is a supermarket sweep watch-along podcast. Tell us everything about this.
Well, it's a podcast on Lemonada. Your past guest, Stephanie Whittles Wax. That's her
right.
network.
Her last name is a verb.
Yes, baby.
I love it when someone's last name is a verb. I very much enjoy that.
I didn't know that about you. Mm-hmm. Wow. 22 years later, you get to know someone, you know, guys?
So she started her own competing network, which we will crush.
With just
and now that I'm finding out that you're on this, I'm really regretting having you on.
I didn't tell you. I didn't bring it up.
I didn't hear anything about this. I just assumed when you said podcast, I just assumed, well, that's an earwolf, obviously.
It's not. It's not at all.
She never actually brought that up. In fact,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it's a podcast. Stephanie started with Jessica Cordova Kramer, and our podcast is called Add to Cart, and it's a show about all the things that we buy and buy into and what that says about who we are. Scotty?
So you've done probably, I would guess, 4 interviews because you rattled that off like really, really well.
That's
like
exactly right.
A lot of people that I get on this show, SuChin, let me, maybe you've had this experience over there at MTV. I would get guests who this was their very first interview ever, and they have no idea how to say what they're going to say. So they just ramble on and on and on about whatever their thing is, trying to formulate whatever it is. It's like the first time anyone has ever asked them a question about it. But man, that was good. You just
Thank you.
Later. How many interviews have you done about this show at this point?
You're spot on, Scott. I believe 4.
Fantastic.
Less than 5 for sure.
Okay. So approximately more than 3, less than 5.
Right in there.
SuChin,
do you have anything to add to this cart about what Add to Cart is about?
No, I mean, I think she said everything. I think what we both find really interesting is when you ask people maybe the last purchase or the strangest purchase that they've made during quarantine, or the one purchase that they're too ashamed to admit to other people that they buy in bulk. Whatever that is often says a lot about who we are and our mind frame.
I see. So are you having guests on the show? Is it every week, or is it just the two of you talking? What you said you ask people. Maybe you're referring to Kulap. I have no idea.
Are you angling to be a guest?
I mean, I'm a little offended that I have not been asked. Rather, I'm I'm on Mount Podmore, for Christ's sake.
Is that a real thing?
It's me, Mark Maron, Conan O'Brien, and whoever hosted Serial. I've never listened.
Oh, that's sweet. Now it's going to mainly be me and SuChin with an occasional guest. So you're really going to get to...
Took a drink in the middle of that answer, expecting it to be longer, and was taken aback by how short it was. Had to put it down. So hardly ever any guests. It's just the two of you. Kulap, you were the one of the hosts of Who Charted.
Who Charted?
That's right. One of the earliest podcasts in existence.
Number 4.
And you covered some. I mean, that was pop culture based. This is pop culture in nature, but it's about more than that, right? Is it about sparkly makeup as well?
Yes, but see, the difference is that show is about charts, and this show is about carts. And there's a difference of one letter, and that letter is H.
Okay, so you don't like H's. Interesting. And how often does this show come out?
Every Tuesday, once a week.
One time every 1 week.
Yes.
That's how you say that. And it comes out on Tuesdays. And how long? What is this, a limited series? Is it going forever until the end of the world? Until the riots bring down the government? How long is this going?
Half the apocalypse. That's about
through half.
Through half.
Okay, so you'll keep going, even when zombies are storming the gates. And
hey, as long as we have that Wi-Fi, we'll keep it going, right, SuChin?
Right,
Wi-Fi.
SuChin is giving you the I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to co-sign look, which is the mark of a great host or co-host rather. Do you consider yourself to be the co-host or the host, SuChin?
I think both of us consider ourselves to be the masters of our own universe. You know, it was so.
You pronounce
masters.
it universe, by the way.
Sorry. I often put a T at the end of my words, but I take that back. So masters of the universe. Yes. So. Something like that. I don't know. I know you're playing with a lot of these titles, and I enjoy listening to that. So
the reviews are in. Wow.
5 stars for Scott's cadence.
I would like more guests to come on this show and tell me how I'm doing. It's a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Well, the show came out last week. Is that correct? The first episode, and we have another episode tomorrow, so people can get in early and often.
We'll be talking about this holiday that you were speaking about, Thanksgiving.
And you'll be talking about that on your second episode. And people can subscribe wherever they get podcasts, and I pray they get them somewhere. Anything else you want to say about this show, or is this topic at its end? And
you don't want to hear anything about what's going on with me? Like
I know everything. We've been trapped with each other for 8 months. There's no stone left unturned at this point. What do you want the listeners to know?
No, I don't have anything.
I'll give you 20 seconds.
I've been building things with Legos during this quarantine. Thanks for asking.
James Bond car that's
right.
Now sitting on our mantle.
Don't forget the Fast and Furious car that's sitting on our other mantle.
A classy touch. But no one's coming by, so,
Nope, just for me and you. Well, that's it for Kulap in quarantine. Thank you, Scott, for the time.
2 Lego cars. That is 20 seconds. All right, well... guys, we need to take a break if that's okay, but this is an exciting show. SuChin, you've never been on the show before. I have to warn you that our booking process, I gotta say, for the last 10 years, I think I need a new booking person because the guests on this show, and present company excluded, of course, but the guests on this show are pretty poor quality. And they tend to have terrible ideas, and because this is the show where we talk to interesting people. I don't know whether. By the way, you cannot steal that because that is Comedy Bang Bang, as well as being humanities podcast. You cannot steal that as well.
Did you trademark it?
Oh boy, gotta get there.
For grabs!
Yikes!
Add to cart, humanities podcast.
Oh no, I've been add to carted. Oh, man. You guys are a prank show, right? Where you just steal people's things and then add them to your cart? In any case, we have some guests coming up. We have a radio personality and we have a chef. So are you excited to talk to these people?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, are you interested in eating food or listening to we covered the radio, but maybe they don't play music.
Yeah, and maybe they'll change my mind. Like I said, I'm warming up to the idea.
So when you listen to every song, you listen in the frame of mind of like, all right, change my mind about this.
Sure. Try me. Yeah.
Try me. All right. Well, we're going to try everyone with our guests coming up. We need to take a break. When we come back, we will have the chef, the radio DJ. We'll be right back with more Comedy Bang Bang after this.
I'm Kevin Hart, and you don't want to miss my new show, Inside Jokes, where I have the opportunity to talk to comedians in ways that I've never been able to talk to them before. Why? Well, because I believe that we're the most interesting people on the planet. Intimate conversations, and not the way that you think it. I'm not talking about nasty talk. I'm talking about real talk, raw talk with great dialogue. Inside Jokes is about jumping into the minds of our amazing comedians. Inside Jokes is available now on Stitcher. Just tap the image on your screen and add it to your favorites.
Comedy Bang Bang, we're back here. We have the stars. It's weird to call people on a podcast stars, but the stars of the podcast Add to Cart. We have Kulap Vilaysack and SuChin Pak, and they are the dynamic duo of podcasting, bursting onto the scene with their new podcast that has been taking the nation by storm. By the way, you guys are probably going to, and it's probably already happened to you by the time this has come out, but you're going to be crowing about like how high you are on the charts of podcasts. That's a fake thing. The charts are fake. Everyone who has a new podcast, they're always like, I made it to number 4. I made it to number 1. It's fake. It's based on new listeners. It's an algorithm is based on new listenership. Anyway, so don't pay too much attention.
A chart is a chart. I'd spent 7 years really learning about charts, and I'll let you know a chart is a chart.
They gotta have payola for podcasts. You know, I'm sick of being so low on the charts. Anyway.
It's about you.
Yes, everything is about this show is me. But turning to people who aren't me, we do need to get to our next guest. She is we talked about the radio. She is a radio personality. And in fact, I believe a disc jockey. Please welcome, first time on the show, please welcome Ana Conda.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. You're tuning in to 97.1 AM Smooth Jazz. Hi, Scott.
Oh, hi. I didn't, I think you're on my show, actually. I don't think that we're tuning into your show.
This is actually my show now, bitch.
We're on your show now?
Yeah, this is my show now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
I didn't mean to call you a bitch, Scott.
Did you just call me a bitch?
I did call you a bitch.
I guess I missed it.
You didn't catch it.
It was so smooth.
It was so. Have you ever been called a bitch so smoothly? No. Well,
usually it's very it's a little too aggressively for my taste.
Yeah,
I appreciated how smooth that was. It really went down well.
Yeah. You like to swallow that? Yeah. Yeah. So Scott, I'm not an aggressive person. So, you know.
You're not? Okay.
No, I'm not an aggressive
You
person.
seem very smooth in nature, and that perhaps that translates to the type of music you play on your show. It sounds like you play smooth jazz. Is that right?
I used to play some smooth jazz. Sometimes I just do talking, and we call it smooth jazz. I think the sound of my voice is smooth jazz. Call me crazy, but at least you're calling. All right, it's really great to have you.
Do you take callers on your show?
Sometimes, Scott. But this is my show now. You said it's.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to take over. Do you want me to take a back seat? Is that?
I want you to get out of the car. All right.
Well, you better pull over first if you know what I mean.
Well,
how far do you want to take this metaphor? I'm not quite sure.
Scott, I don't want to take it any further. Okay. I don't want to take it. Let's
put the brakes on that metaphor. Am I right?
I think we should actually unbuckle here. All right. I'm done with that. Scott, I'm here to confront you. Thank you for having me on. I know you said your bookers have been a problem, but I'd have to say they're a blessing to me. Yeah.
Okay. Confront me about what? I don't. We've never met, have we? I don't believe so.
No, but I follow you on the gram. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm very active on Instagram.
I know.
Putting approximately one post up a week about whatever show I've done.
Yeah, and that's what I see. I clock it once a week. You post about this show, and I have to say, you are part of the problem. Your show is the reason radio is dying. And I came here on behalf of radio disc jockeys. We don't even call ourselves that anymore, Scott. But I came here on behalf of them to say cease and desist.
Okay, what exactly is the problem? Just with my show, or podcasts in general are putting radio out of business?
Podcasts in general are putting.
Okay, so are you going on every podcaster show, or are you just starting with the people on Mount Podmore?
Mount Podmore. Okay, this guy's feeling himself. You said it. Your bookers are bad. I've reached out to everyone who hosts a podcast in the world. Okay,
and my booker is the only one who took you.
Your booker's the only. I made it very clear what my intention was. And your booker.
Wait, you told them that you were going to confront me the minute you got on air?
I did.
And they let you through it? What is going on here?
And they let me through, Scott. You've been dining with Judas. Oh, Scott. All right. Anyway, Tonight
Anyway,
we're
so
gonna play a
you've
little-
moved on from that. Okay. And anyway is usually a reset. I use it quite often too, so we have a lot in common. And anyway is usually a hard pivot to another subject. So you're going somewhere else. Go ahead.
Scott, how'd you get started in podcasting?
Well, I started in radio myself, and then I figured out it was dying, and so I made a left turn into podcasting lane, and have been driving down that street at 35 miles an hour for approximately 10 years at this point.
I just want to respond to that with an FU. And because there was a dig in there, and I'm not.
Are you going to continue spelling that, or just stopping at FU?
Actually, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
FUCKTYOU. T. Yes. Okay. Scott, I think what you guys are doing with this whole podcasting, anyone can be a podcaster. I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem.
Look,
on behalf. Yeah.
I agree because quite honestly, I don't think anyone needs any more podcasts.
Hey.
I think that the cutoff should have been approximately 10 days ago, and there should have been no new podcasts after that. And, look, it's too easy nowadays. I mean, when I started podcasting, you had to really want it.
No.
You know what I mean? You had to, in order to put them up, you had to really know how to access a hosting site, and in order to listen to them, you had to figure out iTunes, and you had to sync it to your iPod, the click wheel iPod. I mean, you had to really want it. Now anyone can just do anything they want.
Okay, so what do you fancy yourself, some sort of pioneer? Let me tell you something about when I started radio hosting on 97.1 Smooth Jazz. I started in the records room. I was going through records, pouring through them.
Is that where they kept the vinyl records, or is this where they kept the records of like everyone's employment?
Everyone's employment. I actually worked in HR. I did work
in HR.
I worked in HR. Most people don't call me out on that, but okay, Scott, I like what you're doing.
I'm just wondering. No.
I like what you're doing here. You get specific. Yeah, and so I started in the records room. I took petty complaints.
Just petty complaints? Or is this complaints about an employee named Petty?
These were actually, well, we did have an employee named Petty. We had one named Petty and one named Patty. And it was quite a problem because they host two different shows at the station. And Petty wanted Patty to go by a different name, perhaps her surname, so as to create less confusion. But you don't want to hear that.
You would think that Patty would have the surname. Or no, Petty would have the surname.
No, but Petty found her name to be more interesting. But I don't want to bore you and your listeners with tales of the past, but I do want to say that I take radio hosting very seriously.
Why did you bring up being in the records room?
Because I want people to know that
it seemed to go nowhere.
Well, Scott, people don't understand that being a radio DJ entails way more than just listening to music, talking on a microphone. Yeah, sometimes you're doing the dirty work. You're getting in there with the pages. You're getting in there, hearing people's complaints.
SuChin, you probably respond to this. When you were at MTV, you had to do the dirty work. You had to, roll up your sleeves and put a little elbow grease into this. So you must be relating very hard to this.
No, I mean, first of all, Ana Conda, I'm a huge fan.
Thank you, SuChin.
Less of your music and more of your voice.
Honey, I don't do music. I don't do music. Okay, but thank you. Thank you so much.
And so I appreciate that. But I didn't do heavy lifting at MTV. I had a pretty easy ride. And so I appreciate all the heavy lifting you did in the records department.
Thank you so much, SuChin, for acknowledging the work that I've done. Now, I just have to clear something up. You say you worked at MTV, and this is news to me. It was not known as TV.
You thought it was TV. I think that would imply there was more than one M in that. That would be like triple M at the very least, I would think, because just two M's would be
Scott,
M and
as a person
MTV,
who is an OG,
which I would watch.
Scott, as a person who is an OG radio host, when TV became
I thought that was an OG radio host.
No. I mean, that too, I suppose, in podcasting, you guys consider OG to be OG. But no.
Can I say you have a very nasal voice to be a radio personality?
I have post-nasal drip. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So because it sounds to me like you have pre-nasal drip to me. But I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, well.
Although I hope to earn an honorary doctorate at some point, like our dear departed William H. Cosby.
Well, okay, so you want to be like Cosby. I would love for this to be the official place where you say, you, Scott Aukerman, want to be just like Cosby.
In that respect, I would love to be like him.
Okay, all
We
right.
can
Well,
pick and choose the
I don't-
aspects of Cosby that we want to be like.
My aim here is to get you canceled, and you're making it too easy.
Wait, you came on here to cancel me?
Yeah, I love
cancel me?
culture. I love cancel culture. Yeah, I do. I'm
do?
actually
It's a big
fan.
problem with
That's the
comedians.
only thing, honestly, in the podcasting world. And the reason, again, I do want to just explain why I believed, because I'm not stupid. Okay, I just want to say I'm not stupid.
I would love for all of our guests to announce if they're stupid or not at the very beginning of
Okay,
their
well,
interview.
you start.
So I appreciate
you
that.
start. Stupid or not?
Quite frankly, I think I'm stupid.
All right, Stevie Lovett, Kulap.
I'm not stupid.
Nah, okay. And SuChin, stupid or not?
I would say I'm more stupid than not stupid.
Okay, well, you got to pick one. You got to pick one. You're gonna have to
Sushi,
pick-
much like I am with Cosby and his doctorate, is just picking parts of what she
No, I
wants to
want
do.
nothing to do with the Cosby. Scott, you're
You
on
want
your
nothing
own
to do
there.
with Cosby's doctor?
No.
You would not want to be a doctor.
No. I don't know where you're leading me with this. I don't want to go. I am
do you have
shutting
an
the
alma-
door.
do you have
I
an
am
alma mater?
Closing the door.
Did you go to college somewhere, Suchin?
I did.
And if they were to call you up and say, we want to offer you an honorary doctorate,
Oh boy.
you would pass because Bill Cosby once took one?
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what I would say.
If they presented it like that, I think she can say no.
Oh, well, I mean, SuChin, I have a question. You wouldn't want to be married to a lawyer? You'd never want to be married to a lawyer under no circumstance?
I never thought about it. I mean, I
You'd
don't
never
think
want to
so.
have a son named Theo? Or a
Never.
daughter, Denise?
No, none of those things sound appealing to me at all.
A daughter, Denise, who thinks she wants to be a fashion designer and wants to go to a Sting concert?
No,
Keep going, Scott.
definitely not. Yeah.
Keep going, Scott.
You'd never want Stevie Wonder to visit your house and sing Jammin' on the One?
You're doing great, Scott. I just have to say, I think what you're doing is awesome today. Because
Thank you. Are we teaming up now?
No, I don't want anything to do with you. I think you suck. But you're doing a great job. You're doing
Thank
a great
you.
job. But again, I do want to just circle back. SuChin, the reason I thought it was TV is not because I'm stupid. It's just that when coming up as an OG of jazz radio, television became a new medium as well. And, there was a lot of excitement around it. And
Wait a minute. How old are you? Because television has been around since the 1930s.
Scott, three things you never do to a woman.
Popularized in the 50s.
Okay, Scott, three things you never do to a woman.
Okay, I'm going to need to take notes. Hold on. This may come up at dinner, Kulap. Hold on.
Get your pencil out. Get your little pencil out.
Wait, I'm not going to Jeffrey Toobin this Zoom meeting if that's what you're asking me to do.
Oh my gosh. Kulap, get your husband.
I'm so sorry, but also thank you for doing this lesson.
Yeah, I'm trying.
What are the three things? What are the three things?
You never ask a woman her age.
Okay.
You never go in her purse. And you never kiss her on the lips. Either set, Scott. Either set.
I just want to clarify. Did you say purse or...
That's the question you had.
Did I say purse or pussy? Is that? Well, it depends. I do consider my pussy a purse, but that's not your business.
It's
And
nature's coin purse.
It is
it
a little
not?
coin purse. I do keep quarters up there. And anyway, I didn't come here to talk about
Nature's
my pussy.
safe deposit box.
I didn't.
It's
I didn't.
not.
I didn't. Well, it does keep babies up there. I mean, it keeps babies.
true.
up
For
there.
some time. For some time.
right?
It's like if a safety deposit box expelled everything that was in it after 9 months.
Yeah, well, Scott, I like that. Scott, that's actually
Just
really
shot it
fun.
out into the vault.
Scott, I still think you're a bitch, but that's awesome what you just did there. Okay, but
Try me. I'm gonna get
you're
you to
not
change your
gonna win
mind
me
about
over.
being a
I came
bitch.
here today. Your booker, who was Chef Kev, is it, or Kevin?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure
You don't know
what Chef Kevin does. I don't think it's the booking.
Okay, but he also doesn't cook either. Right? Okay, but anyway, thanks for tuning in to 97.1 Smooth Jazz.
Reset.
I'm here to get you canceled. Reset. Reset. Yes. So I'm here to get you canceled. I think part of the problem is you guys don't have a respect in the podcasting space for radio disc jockeys any longer. And I think that's part of your demise.
I mean, we view you as dinosaurs, not in the Jurassic Park sense of like, oh, look how cool those are. More in the sense of you're going to be extinct at a certain point, and the podcasts are the asteroid that is going to cause that.
Okay, bitch, you wish. All right. I want to say something that's really important here to sitting.
By the way, you can just say whatever you want. You don't have to announce that you want to say something.
I think we're getting a call.
I just want to make that clear.
I think we're actually getting a call.
We are. All right, let's go to a call.
I think we're actually, I'm not going to take the call. I just like to announce we're getting a call. All right.
Okay, great.
So I actually forewent the opportunity to have children because I was so committed to doing what I do for work here.
Also, it sounds like you're about 110 years old.
Scott, what did I just tell your ass?
I'm not asking. I'm just guessing.
Well,
And I'm certainly not going in your puss.
okay, don't go in my puss. Don't ask my age. And don't kiss me on my lips either set. Okay.
Either set.
We each have it. You got 2 lips. If you're a lady, you got 2 sets. 2 sets. All right. But anyway, no, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to age myself here. But I just want to say I was around for a while.
You're either very old or you were surprised by televisions which had been around for decades.
You know what, Scott? Is this going to make you happy to hear I'm old?
Yes, it would make me very happy. I love to hear when anyone is older than me.
Is it you're so happy right now?
The odds just every year that passes, more and more people are born and more people die. And usually the people who are dying are older than me. And they're not, although, quite often, a lot of times it's people who are younger than me dying. I don't know. I don't know what the odds are.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not tracking. I'm not following because I came here with one thing in mind. Let me tell you something. I'm so committed to the radio space that I changed my name. My name, Ana Conda.
What is your Christian name?
The Times. I'm not a Christian.
I beg your pardon. Are you a religious person?
Is this a Christian program? I should have asked that.
You know what? It is a Mutant Ninja Teenage Turtles. I may be mixing up some of those. It is a program devoted to that normally, but it's not about Christ.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I can speak freely. Okay.
That's the way I pee.
Well, that's the way okay. Scott.
Freely.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're seconds away from getting canceled on your own show.
What? The ultimate indignity to get canceled on your own show.
On your own show.
You can get canceled by your show. I mean, there was this gentleman who was hired to be on a late night television program who was on a podcast and that got him canceled.
Weird. Tell me more. Tell me more about that.
But
you're tuning into 97.1 Smooth Jazz. My name is Ana Conda. I've got Scott Ackerman here today to tell me about a young man on a late night show. Perhaps let go.
It was a show that was it's kind of false advertising because it says that it's on Saturday nights when approximately 2/3 of the program is on Sunday mornings.
Okay.
And he was canceled by his own podcast, but not on his podcast. I think that would have been funny if that program had come on to his podcast just to tell him he was canceled.
The entire cast of that program kind of come on. That would have been funny to you.
Much like they're doing the Good Nights. Alec Baldwin's holding up a sign saying you're fired.
Scott Ackerman, I have to say you are one sick bitch. I have to say, with all due respect, because I'm only cussing because you've informed me this is not a Christian program. All right.
Okay, I appreciate that.
It's the only reason I'm cussing. I do want to explain here, with the times changing so quickly, podcasting picking up, I changed my name to try to keep up with the times, you see? But I think I did it wrong or something. My name was originally Ana Conda.
Oh, like Marie Kondo?
With a C, though, because she's with a K.
She's with a K, yeah.
Like a condominium, but shorter.
Yeah, exactly.
So Weird Al's going to buy me a condo.
Condo, because my last name is actually Spanish for apartment.
Oh,
and so I changed it. Yeah. This is learn something for once.
So your name was Ana Condo.
Ana Condo.
And you changed it to Anaconda.
Anaconda, because I was trying to keep up with the times.
What were the times you were trying? I'm trying to think of any time in the last 50 years or so where anacondas were in the news.
Well, there was a song by an artist, maybe you know.
Of course, there's, The Baby Got Back, My Anaconda Don't Want None. Son, Unless You've Got Buns, Hun. Do you ever do a report on that song, SuChin?
No, and thank you for that. That was
I'm just imagining the typewriter, and then suddenly SuChin's on her TV saying, Baby Got Back is in the news again for being still awesome.
Yeah, I don't ever recall that script coming across my desk, but
So you would just read what you...
Yeah.
You wouldn't actually write these scripts.
No, I told you I'm mostly stupid. Yeah.
So you were like an actress.
Okay, sure. I like to call myself a great reader, but I suppose there was some acting involved. Yeah.
All right. Very good.
That's awesome, SuChin. Well, Scott,
Yes.
it seems I've succeeded in canceling you.
It seems like it seems like you've run out of steam. Is that safe to say?
I've run out of steam. No,
Which is an old expression that maybe came about when you were born, when steam engines were all the rage.
You don't fucking know how old I am, Scott.
I can't. That's the thing. I can't tell whether you're really old or you're just a person who was surprised by televisions.
You can't tell because black don't crack. And yeah, I am black. This is a moment for me to reveal.
This is okay. I don't like to ask our guests what.
I thought you were going to say you don't like black people, and that was going to be the big thing.
That pause in between don't like, and the next thing I said, was really fraught with tension.
Yeah, okay, Scott.
Yeah.
No, I haven't run out of steam. I could go all day. I could go for hours.
I'm sure you could, as could I. That's what she said. But unfortunately,
okay, Scott,
say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. But we do need to get to a commercial, if that's all right, because it does seem like we've wrapped up everything that you came on here to talk about. Is that safe to say?
I think I have, but I'd also think that this isn't your show, Scott. This isn't your show.
Okay, do you want to take us to break? Is that?
Yeah, I'm going to take us to break.
Usually, you know what? Usually we do is we like kind of hype what's coming up. We do what they would call in the business a tease of what's coming up. You know,
I can tease. Sure. All right. I'm great at teasing. You're listening to 97.1 AM. My name is Ana Conda. We have to take a break, but when we return, we'll be talking to somebody special. All right.
I have to say that I pray that you never take over the show, because I don't know. I think
sorry.
our listenership is just going to drop off a cliff.
I'm sorry. Was my
week that you
so
take
bad
over.
that people don't want to hear who someone special is?
I don't know. Well, why don't I take over at this point? We are going to come back after a break. We're going to have more Kulap Vilaysack, more SuChin Pak, more Ana Conda, and we'll be talking to someone special, and that's very exciting.
Come on.
We'll be talking to them on the other side of this break. We'll be right back with more Comedy Bang Bang after this. Comedy Bang Bang, we are back here with the hosts of the hit podcast Add to Cart, Kulap Vilaysack and SuChin Pak. And you guys excited that it's out there in the world now?
We're thrilled. It's so fun to do together.
You thrilled like that song Thriller by Michael Jackson, SuChin?
Don't know it.
You ever have to report on that guy? It seems like you were at MTV News. You could have broken the big story when it came to that guy.
Yeah.
But you just turned a blind eye.
Not so much a blind eye, it just, that happened a little before my time,
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, right. She's
height of TRL.
Yes.
You could have been the first MTV journalist to win a Pulitzer for breaking that important story.
Yeah, but I just wasn't around at that time, so that would be.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, I know.
We also have Ana Conda, who this Ana Conda don't want none. She, you know that Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I resent that.
You resent that, really?
Yeah.
You know, Sir Mix-a-Lot was referring to his penis when he was talking about the anaconda. I don't know.
I
whether
didn't
you put
name myself, Scott. Unlike you, I didn't name myself.
You said you did in the last segment.
No, I changed my last name, Scott. And here's the thing: you don't listen. And that's why you couldn't do what I do, Scott.
How'd you get started? How'd you get interested in this?
Oh, fuck off. FUCKTOFFT. Okay.
All right. Well, we on that note, we do need to get to our next guest. She's the aforementioned very special person, and she is a chef and a television personality, and she's been on this show before. Please welcome back to the show. You know her from the Great British Bake Off, or I think it has a different title out there in England, but please welcome back to the show, Mary Berry.
Ana Conda, I'm so pleased to be here.
Oh, I'm happy to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Excuse
I'm
me, who are
technically
you?
I'm sorry. You were on the show before, and I was the host then. If not now.
I am actually also quite old, and I remembered you as an ash bin man. Emptying the ash bin, saying, "Can I have
Ashbin
a
Kutcher?"
tuppence?" And what?
I think you saw the movie Oliver. or something, and you're thinking of a dear little orphan boy.
I lived the movie Oliver. I am so pleased to meet another woman of a certain age, because as you may have learned when I came on
Not
your
quite sure who you're talking to at this point, whether you're talking to SuChin or you're talking to Ana Conda or...
I didn't say I was old.
Well, I am 119 years old.
Whoa. I don't, I gotta say, Ana Conda, you were saying black don't crack, but Mary Berry, well, I've seen you on that show. I wouldn't think that you were 119 years old.
Well, if you saw me now, you would. I am as cracked as a sidewalk in the desert.
Oh my gosh.
They're finally building sidewalks out there in the desert.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Have you tried a moisturizer?
Yes, I have. I opened up the bottle and it disappeared right into my skin.
Now I have to ask, because I would be remiss not to.
Yes.
Why do you seem as though you've just fled an unsafe situation?
This is by the way, this is your best question yet. This is something I have to ask more people when they come on this show.
Well, Miss Ana Conda, you're a fantastic host. I'm so pleased to be on.
You
your
seem
program
out of
speaking
breath.
to
You're
you.
perspiring. You seem as if you just ran into the room and sat down right now.
Yes. Well, this is the first time.
Get your thoughts together.
Since the beginning of the coronavirus that I have been outside of my bunker. You see, as a woman who's 119 years old, if merely a droplet of coronavirus hit my body, I would turn to dust like a sidewalk in the desert.
Wait, these sidewalks in the desert are doing a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to metaphors.
Yes. Well, why do you think there are not more sidewalks in the desert? If they haven't cracked, they've turned to dust and disappeared.
I see.
So again, we don't know why you're breathing so hard.
At any rate, I've spent the past 6-7 months inside a specialized protective bunker inside Big Ben.
Inside Big Ben, really?
Yes.
Up there on the top or down below or somewhere in the middle? Those are your three choices.
Yes. So not quite at the top, because the top, of course, is a little point. And
Sure,
it's too small for anyone
it's
to
like
live.
the tip. Yeah, it's just the
Not
tip.
the tip.
Essentially.
Behind the clock. Behind the clock.
Oh, so you're up there. I would consider that to be the top, right behind the clock. Like if you're talking about just the triangle tip, like that's splitting hairs as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Big Ben.
Well, I'm not quite interested in your opinion.
I love that. Yeah,
Okay,
go off,
okay.
sis.
Note taken.
Go off. Go off, sis.
Mary,
Yeah.
now's maybe not the time to come out of your bunker. The coronavirus,
Yeah,
we're on like the third wave right now.
Yeah, why are you... The novel coronavirus is even worse than ever at this point. I'm not sure why you came out of the bunker just to do this show.
Well, it's an honor.
Okay.
It's an honor to be on a podcast. And I have a very important request for America, the world to hear
Humanity,
from me.
is what we like to call
Well,
it.
no,
Yeah,
I just
our
have to say, she
listenership.
said it was an honor to be on a podcast. Now, there are like hundreds of thousands of them. Is it really that big of a
Almost
deal?
too many. Almost as if they should have did the cutoff about 10 days ago or so.
Add to
No,
cart on
I look
Lemonada.
forward to hearing Kulap and SuChin's podcast. That's the only podcast I'll support.
Thank
But,
you.
yeah.
If you take over Scott's podcast, then I marry you. That's I think the
You may-
deal.
I'm actually going to go ahead and take it over. And Scott
Yeah, you're
going
going to
to
have to battle Jason Mantzoukas, a.k.a. Jeffrey Character Wheaties, for this distinction because he wants, upon my death, he wants to take over the podcast and marry Kulap. So
Honey, I'm not waiting for you to die. I'm going to just do it.
you're just going to do it.
And that's
Okay.
the difference between me and Jason. Yeah.
But Mary, you're excited to be on this show for what reason? I mean, it doesn't seem like you're promoting anything.
I am.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to it then. Why wait?
I have a request. So you might ask, Mary, how have you lived to be 119 years old?
I wasn't really going to ask that, but if you want me to ask it, I certainly will. It seems like you're leading me in that direction. But all right. So, Mary, how did you get to be 119 years old?
Well, if you weren't going to ask, fine, I won't say.
Well, now I'm interested. Now that you're being a coy little minx about it. I really do want to know about it. How did you get there? How did you? I'm presuming a year at a time, but how did you get to 119?
Well, mostly yes, a year at a time. Although there were a few years in the middle that I leapt through like a jumping jack. But
or like a sidewalk in the desert,
like a sidewalk in the. I jumped over as you jump over the cracks in a sidewalk.
Sidewalk on the desert. Yes,
the desert.
Yes,
quite. And my secret is every year on Christmas I consume a Christmas pie baked out of a child. It's
right. I seem to remember us talking about this last time you were on the show. You are cannibalistic in nature, if not magical. Is that right? And you
eat the youth out of a child. Is that what keeps you alive?
Yes. Now you seem smart.
Thank you. It's how I identify.
Well,
how is it magical, or is it the adrenochromes inside the babies? What exactly is it that gets you to be so youthful in appearance?
Yes. Well, as I was positing last time I was on the show, I believe it's imagination.
Oh, okay.
I believe I'm consuming a creature with imagination, a child, and the magic of imagination powers me just through another year of living in this old crone's body.
I see. Okay, so the imagination that resides within the children, because imagination is one of the strongest forces on Earth, according to the Fantasmic show out there in Disneyland. So it powers you through a complete year. Can I ask a question? If you ate 2 babies on Christmas Day, would that power you through 2 years? Or it's purely a yearly cycle thing?
I can't. If I were to eat 2 babies, I would immediately pass away.
Like a sidewalk.
Like a sidewalk in the desert after a heavy rain, an uncharacteristic rain that caused a mudslide that passed the sidewalk away.
Mm-hmm. I see. So just 1 baby a year for you. How do you get the babies again?
Great question.
Well, prior to coronavirus, I was able to go into the world, meet a baby, acquire a baby.
Yes. Do you consider? I don't know about whether the terminology is right. Like meeting a baby. I think in order to meet someone, they have to realize they're meeting you. You know, it has to be a 2-way street, much like a sidewalk in the desert. I think that it has to be, both parties have to agree that it's a meeting. But when one party has no idea what's happening and they just see you as shapes, or then it's not a true meeting. But you're saying you're meeting babies.
Well, yes, and I, of course, go by the age-old rule: if you shake a hand, you have met. And so I shake the hand of a baby, and if the situation presents itself, I take it, bake it, and shake it for another year, baby.
How does this situation present itself? Like, that seems to be like, it's not presenting itself. That's something that you have to present and make present.
Well, this is my problem, because nowadays no one will even allow me to get close enough to them to shake the hand of their baby.
I have to say, I'm not surprised. You look hideous.
No, it's the novel coronavirus, Ana Conda.
It's
not her look. You don't have to slam her with how she looks.
She's saying the textbook coronavirus actually has not touched her because she would actually die. So this is just her. This is just sis. That's how sis looks. And
she needs to feed.
You look hideous.
I mean, we're about a month out on the deadline here. How are you going to get this baby?
Well, that's why I'm on this show. I'm hoping to broadcast to your... How big is your listenership?
I don't think they're going to be giving up babies to you, Mary.
You never know. I mean, there are people who give up babies and put them on like the fire department steps all the time. Maybe there's someone out there listening to a podcast right now who's like, you know what? This sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, I don't think podcasts get
SuChin, you don't appreciate that kind of comment?
No, I just
as if you're on MTV News.
No, that's my serious journalist face. But I was just wondering the last time that we ever that headline reached the news of a baby being left on the doorstep of a fire.
Maybe it's a cliche, sort of like, you know how like in 80s movies there were all these movies about like a baby being left on a doorstep, and I don't think that ever happened either. It just kind of happened in movies. But did it ever? I'm sure it happened one time. Hey, you like the Fugees, Ana Conda?
Yeah, I do enjoy the Fugees, and I do like that what you just did there. I do really.
Thank you so much. That was for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Big fan of Lauryn Hill.
She sort of dropped off after that first album, though, didn't she? I was having this conversation with another guest.
She did,
recently.
but that album made it into the Library of Congress, so that is of note. And I do think she was going through some things. I don't know her personally, but I have to guess.
Okay.
No, I don't think you get the listenership. I think that's the problem here with the podcast. You don't get the listenership for people who are dropping babies off at fire stations. I do. That's
so your demographic includes people who are dropping their babies off at fire stations.
Yeah, and let's get with the times. They're not doing it at fire stations now. They're dropping them off at Apple stores. Yeah,
that's the modern take on it.
And they're admitting this in a census that you're giving out to your listeners.
So when we do get these calls on my show, I do take the calls and then I tell them to hold off. I have my engineer tell them, you can answer it. You kind of riff with them a little bit and then I'll hop on a call after I'm done the show. And a lot of them do want to drop their babies off. So Mary, I do think if I were to take over this podcast, as I do plan to, I think together you and I can get you those babies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pip, cheerio. I'm so pleased that I was able to meet you. And Scott, I found you to be more or less quite useless.
Useless.
That's probably the most accurate review of this show that's ever been said.
Yeah.
Now,
more or less useless.
You're an ash bin. You're more or less useless.
A little bitch.
You're a little bitch.
Right. All the important stuff.
This is interesting because I this is one of the rare episodes that has all women on it, and
you're
I've
so
been
mad
called
about it.
useless,
You're so mad about
an
it.
ashbin, and a little bitch.
Scott, I want to touch you. Are you upset that it's all women right now? You seem.
I'm not upset.
furious.
I'm finding this to be a unique experience where every single guest has called me something quite offensive, other than you, maybe SuChin. Although you can have a crack at it if you like.
Well, we did have multiple polls.
Yeah, we did multiple polls. She called you out of your name as well.
SuChin, what's the worst thing you've ever called someone?
I think it was on this show. It just happened about 30 minutes ago when I as well agreed with Kulap and said you were an LB.
LB, yeah.
A pound.
Now, Mary, if you
hashtag sign.
I'm so worried because you look sick. You look absolutely sick and atrocious.
You're 11 months in. I mean, this baby has been wearing off.
I mean, I'm more for the listeners, who may not be able to see me. I look like a girl version of the Night King. Yes, I look like the Night King in a snappy pink blazer with a lovely blonde wig, and a lady never leaves without her lipstick. Although
which lips?
my lipstick
Which
was
lips?
filled with dust.
Which lips?
Which pair?
There's two sets. There's two sets.
Scott, you're getting the hang of this.
Yes.
I mean,
Which
lipstick on the top and on the bottom.
No, we're talking top lip and bottom lip, or we're talking
Bookended.
top set. Top set.
I'm so glad you asked. Top lip and bottom lip and left lip on the bottom.
Diagonally. I like that.
Wonderful. Okay.
Interesting.
Wonderful.
Well, let's put a plea out there to the listeners. Ana Conda, I'll put you in charge of this
Okay.
since you seem to get the most calls and you have the listenership, you have the demographic for this. But let's try to get you some babies, or at least one baby.
All right.
Do you usually need to go out there to like 20 babies to get one, or is it usually you're able to get one right away?
Usually I'm able to get one at least on my second try. Because I normally when I'm allowed to get, I've got very sneaky fingers. Sometimes I'll hide in a bush or a mailbox and snatch a baby from a pram. But these days people are much more cautious.
Might I say, by the way, you have such a specific English accent. What region are you from, Mary, if I may ask?
I mean, of course you may ask. I'm British through and through. I was born and raised
100%
in
British.
merry old London. I'm a Brit. I'm an English woman, crack, all the way to the Queen.
All the way to the top of Big Ben, just right above where you live.
Just right above where I currently live.
Amazing. Well, let's get you a baby. Ana Conda, you want to put out the call?
All right. You're listening to 97.1 Smooth Jazz. My name's Ana Conda. If you have a baby, you can give Mary to eat. Hear her plea right now. Hear her plea. Go for it, Mary.
Hello, it's Mary Berry. It's lovely to meet you all. If any of you have a baby, I'd be willing to take it off your hands, and I'd even be willing to make a trade. I've got several things
trade
to trade.
things?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
What are
A
you trading
necklace. If anyone would like a small necklace.
How small are we talking? Is it like bracelet sized or?
Yes, about as small as a wrist or an ankle.
So it's like a large bracelet or a small necklace.
Correct. A coffee cup. An orange coffee cup.
You're just looking around your room right now at things, aren't you?
No.
Your usual. This is the second week that we've had guests on here, usual suspecting it, and I won't stand for it.
You're a big Kevin Spacey fan, aren't you, Scott?
Well, I mean, in certain
fan.
aspects, yes.
Yeah, huge fan.
Winning the two Oscars? What? You're saying that if you were up to win an Oscar, you wouldn't because Kevin Spacey won 2 of them?
Okay, if this isn't getting you canceled, I don't know what will. Mary, I am troubled. I'm troubled. You still seem to be fully out of breath. It's been some time.
It seems like the act of sitting is almost too much for your body at this point.
Well, yes.
This baby is wearing off.
Yeah.
Yes, and this always happens come close to Thanksgiving because I'm in my final month of life without the blood of a baby. But as the stipulations dictate, of course, I can't feast on my baby until the clock strikes midnight at Christmas. So by Christmas Eve, I look like a slug.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sidewalk in the desert, but
No,
you really threw me a
more than
curveball.
one thing. I look like a
You're
small...
finding it hard just to even say one thing. You are out of breath, sister.
Yes. Well, if you could see my bottom half, you'll see I'm not.
No thanks.
If you could see my bottom half, you'd see the lovely job I did on my lipstick.
We're not going to tube in on this episode. Well, if you're out there and you have a baby and you're quite frankly sick of it, and who wouldn't be around the holidays? And honestly, like we're about a month out from having to buy Christmas presents. So, if you want to save some money, and you want maybe a large bracelet or a small necklace, why not?
You have an extra baby to unload. Hey,
yeah, why not give it over? Maybe you have twins and you didn't expect it, and you're like, you boy would prefer just the one. Then you are prime Mary Berry target here. Where can people drop these off for you?
Big Ben.
Big Ben. So they on their dime they have to travel, or are you paying?
If that would be preferable, I really
of course it would be preferable. Are you on a budget? But we're talking about a baby here. People pay a lot of money for these
things.
In
quite some time. That bitch took over the Great British Bake Off, and
we're not talking about me, are we?
Sitting, not you, a different bitch, a woman. And I'm just sitting up here in Big Ben, and I've spent lots of my money on expansion packs for Quiplash.
Okay. Well, see, that's your fault. All the rest of it, the bitch took over Great British Bake Off. You're sitting in Big Ben. You haven't been able to work. Like, okay, that's circumstance. But spending all your money on expansion packs for Quiplash, I mean, that's all you.
I ran out of funny questions.
Okay.
But Mary, what happens if you get 2 babies, 3 babies even? What will you do?
Another wonderful question from somebody who's not the host of this podcast. Seeing as I cannot eat more than one baby on any given Christmas, I will raise the other babies as my own.
Oh, that's the Mary Berry promise.
Yes.
Have you ever had to raise other babies?
Well, Yes, in 1940, I got 2 babies, and I did raise one until the ripe age of 18. And
They were 18 or you were 18?
they were 18.
They were 18. Okay, got it.
Yes. And they went off to Cambridge and became they work at the constabulary.
Wow, what an amazing story, and even better in the retelling.
Now, I have to ask you, Mary, with multiple babies on hand in the past, of course, I don't want to sore subject. Did you name these babies, or were you just referring to them as baby?
Fantastic question.
Thank you.
It almost seems as if you're commenting on the quality of the questions in order to stall. Is that something that's happening, or?
Well, of course I am. You see, my brain is as emaciated as a sidewalk in the desert.
Of course, yes, sidewalk in the desert, yes.
It's just getting worse and worse by the day, and so my memories are fleeting away from me with such speed, and so it takes me a moment to remember.
You're stalling, okay.
No, I know. Okay,
It seems like you need approximately 20 seconds to answer any question, and even then, I don't know that you have.
No, this is. Honestly, I feel extremely disrespected. I'm going to tell you the names of all of my babies right this minute. One was a boy, brown hair.
Oh boy.
You can't think of a name off the cuff.
Look, all we're asking you to do is tell us real facts on this show, and you can't even do that. Mary, this is not good podcasting.
Here's what one of your sons. Well, that's the problem. The problem isn't you, Mary. The problem is podcasting as a medium in general.
That's true. We may have already hit peak podcasting, and we're just downhill from here.
This was on AM. We could go all night. We could take calls. We could take calls.
Would you take calls?
I don't, but we get them.
We could.
We get them. And
the opportunities there.
I acknowledge that they're there, and then we play tunes, and that's why radio is so much better than podcasting. But I beg of thee, name one of your kids. Name one.
Well,
just one.
I can. And here's a question, SuChin, you have children.
The old ask someone else a question when you've been asked a question isn't going to work here. We asked you a goddamn question, name one of your children's names, and you're going to answer it.
Well, I'll only do it if SuChin does it.
All right, we'll do a trade.
Okay.
SuChin, are you comfortable naming one of your children on air?
One of my children with brown hair, buttons on his shirt.
2 feet?
Oh my
2
God.
feet, sandals upon his toes, and bow tie on Christmas, named Penny.
Penny.
Yes.
That's very close to Patty and Petty, by
Yes.
the way.
Which was the whole problem.
I think there'd be a lot of confusion over there in
and
HR.
I don't want to have to collect that paperwork. So have Penny never get into radio. Okay.
All right, go hit us, Mary, with whatever your child is named.
Oh well. Thank you
You're
for that
still with the
information.
Wells. Just do it. Enough preamble. Get to the amble.
I feel like she didn't name these children. I think she just ate them. I don't think you named them.
She just ate these
I don't know if
children.
she raised that boy.
Right.
to
She was
Cambridge.
describing him. Just go ahead, Mary. She's 128 years old. Go on. Yes, buttons. You go on.
Buttons on his jacket, and I do
Buttons on
want to
his
say
jacket,
thank
bow
you
tie
for
on Christmas
sharing
morning.
your
Yes, we
Penny's
know all the
name.
details.
buttons on all of his teeth except one, for he fell on his 6th birthday and chipped one of his teeth like the cup in Beauty and the Beast. Chip.
You
but
mean
that's
Chip?
not his name.
Oh, that's you. You just thought of a name and you can't even. God.
That's not his name.
Scott, you're
Do you have
so-
Final Draft open? They have a names database.
Scott,
Like,
you're-
I'm
I
not
know-
saying you're a writer, but
Final Draft.
maybe you should.
Well, I only have Final Draft 10, and it's glitchy on my computer.
Look, hey, you're speaking my language right now. But
And the collaborate mode is dog shit. It's terrible.
dual dialogue,
This is
though.
the one thing you do. Why can't you do it better?
Look, if you're not going to name one of your babies, I'm afraid that we're running out of time, and we just don't have time for it.
Okay,
but,
this is coercion, Mary, and you can sue him for this. This is extortion.
Really? You could be sued for something you say on a podcast? Oh, no. Look, we are running out of time, though, and unfortunately, we only have time for one final feature on the show, and that is a little something called plugs.
Everybody likes plugging, plugging USA. Everybody likes plugging, we're plugging every day.
Oh, okay. I think that was it. That was Everybody Likes Plugging by Lester Pips. Lester Pips. Thank you to Lester Pips. That sounds like something, Mary Berry, that you would say. Lester Pips.
And I would, and I have.
Sure, because you're authentically British.
Lester Pips. It's what I say when I'm upset.
Oh, okay. We don't want to get you there then. I'm so glad you haven't said it yet. What are we plugging here? Kulap and SuChin, I would imagine that you want to plug Add to Cart. Is that right?
That's right. Follow us at Add to Cart Pod on Instagram and check us out.
Check us out. Yeah. SuChin, anything you want to add to that? Check us out, exclamation.
No, we like to say it's aggressive, champagne fun in your ears. We like to also say it's the seat of humanity. Add to Cart, and that's at Add to Cart Pod. So
too close.
Yeah.
Too close to Humanity's podcast.
Add to Cart.
And the second episode will be coming out tomorrow, but you can listen and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. It is out right now. You can listen to that first episode currently, and then every week successively.
Yes, it will be a success.
Yes. You'll put the success in successively. All right. Ana Conda, what do you want to plug?
I'd like to plug my radio show, 97.1 AM. Comedy Bang will be moving to that station, so tune in next time.
Starting next week?
Starting next week.
All right.
Please.
I had a good run.
Yeah, you did. I think it was a fine run. Moments were good. You had your moments. And
accurate.
So that's at the 97.1 AM. We'll be doing Comedy Bang Bang there. Please disregard any pleas from Scott to tune into the Earwolf show, as Earwolf is done. It's finished. He's canceled. That's my plug.
Okay. Well, all right. And Mary Berry, anything you want to plug here?
Yes. A writer duet I find to be a pleasing alternative to Final Draft. It's free, and then for some other features, you can subscribe for $12.99 a month.
Okay, $12.99 a month. I don't know that I'm writing enough scripts to justify that. If I write one a year, I mean that's $130 a year or so, or $150 a year. I don't know. I don't know whether I could get reimbursed for that with whatever I sell the script for. A lot of what I do is on spec. I mean, I'm offer only as far as acting roles go, but speculative upon writing, and so I'm not quite sure about that price point. What do you think?
You could likely write it off, at least.
Yeah, at least. Okay. All right. What do I want to plug? I want to plug, first of all, the Auntie Donna show is out there on Netflix right now. 6 episodes. You can burn through all of them in a couple hours. We had a lot of fun making that. It's a
very funny
sketch show with the Auntie Donna from Australia. You can get that right now. Egg Helms and I produced that. And has the Comedy Bang Bang seal of approval on that. And thank you. It's been getting great reviews. And thank you to all the people who have said they've really enjoyed it. So I want to make sure you check that out. I also want to say, hey, look, Comedy Bang Bang fans, and I hope you are one because you're listening to this right now. This episode is the final episode that you can vote on for the best of Comedy Bang Bang. So voting is now open. And head over there to earwolf.com and the Comedy Bang Bang section, and you can vote on what you think the best episodes of 2020 were. So that starts from Thanksgiving of last year to this episode here. And we want to hear what you think. Because in about a month, Paul F. Tompkins and I will be doing the countdown of all the best episodes. And look, it's your responsibility to vote on them. Whatever you choose is whatever we play. So it's an awesome responsibility. And I think that's what everyone was talking about a month back when they were saying vote, vote, vote. I wasn't really paying attention. So I think they were talking about this. So head over there and please vote for your favorites. I think you can pick 10. Pick your 10 favorites, and then we'll count down the top vote receivers. That's how you say that eloquently, I think. I also want to plug a friend of mine. I wanted to plug his work. Donnie Cates, who some of you may know as a comic book writer. He works for Marvel. He's been doing Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy and Venom and all sorts of stuff. He has a new book called The One You Feed, and it's you can pay what you want for it. So you go to panelsyndicate.com, which is Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin's website, and you pay whatever you want for it, which could be nothing as far as I'm concerned. When people say pay what you want for it, everyone's just too ashamed to pay nothing. Fuck it, I'll pay nothing. And I told him that to his face.
Ooh, what a plug.
And the premise is essentially, what if the entire world turned into their own inner demons at nightfall? And it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to plug it because he's a cool guy and a great writer. And you can go over to his Twitter at Don Cates for more information and see the trailer. All right, let's close up the old plug bag.
You start with a C when you want to close it up. You lead with an L and then you O. And then he just says, open up the plug bag. Open up the plug bag. Everybody wants to open up the plug bag. Let's keep it fucking open up the plug. Open up the plug. Open up the plug. Open it up.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much. First of all, SuChin and Kulap, thank you so much for being on the show, and good luck.
Scott,
in
thank
podcasting.
Thank you for loving me all these years.
How many would you say that I've loved you for?
We've been together for 22. I'm going to say solid 18.
Okay, somewhere in there. And it wasn't 18 straight either. It really some.
And I don't blame you for some of those years. I am a lot.
Little saggy in the middle. With that, and that's what she said.
I didn't say that.
Ana Conda, what do you? No, we've already done plugs. I'm not
I do want to plug something.
Anything.
Thank you for asking
okay, go
me
ahead.
again. I just want to plug that
double plug,
and that's what do we call that? We call that this is a Christian program. I won't say.
No. Yeah, I think you are mistaken. This is not a Christian program.
Okay, well, I still won't say because my Christian followers will be upset.
Okay, but you have a lot of Christian followers.
I
you
do
have been
because I
pretty
did that
dirty
tour.
this entire show.
I did that TBN tour.
Okay.
Trinity
I still don't know. So you just talked about smooth jazz on the tour? Anyway, go ahead, plug whatever you want.
I want to say that had I known in advance that this was the last episode, listeners could vote for the best of the year, I would have done something totally different.
Done what different? Not talked about
from last November to now. I would have done something different.
Just with your life in general.
Yes. I didn't know.
Look, here's the other thing. People who have been on this show, if you've ever been a guest on this show, you can advocate for your episodes to be voted on. Not enough people do that. Paul F. Tompkins gamed the system a few years back where he just actively asked his 1 million plus followers to vote only on his episodes, and his all came up in the top 10. So, if you look, Ana Conda, this is the first time you've ever been a guest, but maybe you have some favorite episodes over the previous year that you could implore people to vote on.
The last year is a total blur. I just know that
understand
it wasn't. I hadn't thought about the voting. And if I had been aware of the voting, I would have made different choices.
Different life choices. I understand.
Different life choices. But
look, the episode before Thanksgiving, it's a time for family, and that's why I wanted to have Mary Berry here on the show. She's been on the show approximately once. And can't even think of one name.
Why did you look at me and then pass me over?
I thought of it.
You thought of it. Oh, okay.
During the plugs.
During the plugs, you thought of it. Okay, well, this is a wonderful way to end the show, to hear you finally have thought of the name. Mary Berry, hit us with that name of one of your children.
Well,
God damn it.
Scott. It's Scott.
It's Scott. You're looking at me. Your usual suspecting it. All right. We have to go. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.